Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach. Welcome back to another edition of Friday Fun Day. Woo! What I have for you today is one more piece in our what I'm calling our fall harvest set. Now, remember we made the dishcloth, or what we're calling a tea towel. And then we made the pot holder. You could make it double-sided or single. And so now we did, for today, a coaster to go along with it. And it's a lot of fun, especially if you're going to use maybe set those towels out as a placemat, or you just want them for decoration, or you're having a bunch of people over and you want to give them something to remember your party by. You can make these fun coasters. Now this one's just made in like what I call like a country orange. It's not a bright orange, it's sort of a dulled orange. I like it. It has a little bit of melonness to it. And then this one is made with one of a different variegated harvest type yarn. We are going to be using the same yarn that we used on these to make one today, and I'll talk more about yarns in just a second. But the size of this is nice because it's about 4.5 inches wide and it's 7 inches long. And also it has that vein down the middle, and you don't need to worry about that because you can see, I'm going to put my cup right on it, no problem putting my cup of coffee right on those coasters. And I like that it has a little bit of room left over here. Isn't that pretty? It just makes a really nice display. And yes, I'm using my new mug I got at Dollar Tree. And so it's a nice big mug. You can use these on glasses, wine glasses. They're not going to tip over. That little bit of a vein isn't enough to cause any issue whatsoever. And if you don't want it there, just place a regular double crochet on those rows instead of the front post and back post. It's stitched up similar to the hot pad, only smaller. Now you'll find the complete written pattern with pictures on my blog, and you'll also find a link for the tea towel and the hot pad or pot holder. You'll find that on the blog as well. And then I'll also link these underneath the video, so you'll have the video links as well, so that you can make a complete set. And wouldn't that make a wonderful gift? All right, so those links will be down in the notes underneath this video. All right, so let's talk yarn. Now this is a coaster, and so I prefer to use medium weight number 4 cotton yarn. This is one from Hobby Lobby. It's one of their harvest ones. This is just some that I had on hand, and I don't know the brand. It's just an orange. And then this is the one that is Harvest Hues, that is I Love This Cotton. You can use any cotton as long as it's a medium weight number 4. Any harvest colors or any greens or any colors that you want. All right. Now, if you're someone who likes to make your coasters out of acrylic, that's totally fine. You can use acrylic yarns or wool or alpaca, whatever you want to use, as long as you use a medium weight number 4. Just keep in mind the cotton is going to absorb if you have glasses that are going to sweat, like a glass of tea or soda or something that's going to have sweat on the outside of the glass. It will absorb that. Acrylic will not. But it will still protect your surface underneath if you use acrylic. It'll protect it from scratches or, that ring that always happens if you don't use a coaster. All right, so I'm not telling you not to use an acrylic. What I'm telling you is I prefer to use a cotton or a cotton blend. All right? All righty, so we're going to stitch today with our H-hook, which is a 5mm. You need your scissors and you need a needle. Oh, and the amount of yarn you're going to need is basically about 1 ounce or 1.5 ounces, depending on how tightly that you stitch. All right, let's get started. We're going to be starting down here at the point, working our way up, making that vein down the center, and then of course we'll go around the outside and make our little loop for the stem, and our little curl point at the bottom. All right, so we'll start with our slip knot. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in the 4th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we skipped those 3 chains and began in the 4th chain, so those 3 chains count as our first double crochet. And then we stitch 2 more double crochets, chain 3. All right, and that's the beginning of our point at the bottom of our coaster, 3 double crochets. Now we're ready for row 2. We're going to turn our work. We're going to double crochet in that first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next, and 2 double crochets in that last stitch, which is that chain 3 from the beginning. All right, so we increased at the beginning and the end, so now we have 5 double crochets, and we're going to chain 3. So pretty much it begins the same way as our pot holder did, only we started with less amount here, and of course we're going to increase a less amount because it's a smaller leaf. All right, so now we're ready for row 3. We've chained 3. We're going to turn our work. We're going to stitch 1 double crochet in that first stitch. Then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next. Now we're going to stitch a front post double crochet. So we're going to stitch around the post instead of at the top. And it's front post because it's on the front of our work. Now we're going to stitch 1 double crochet in the next, and then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. And chain 3. All right, now, so we increased by 1 here, which gave us 1, 2, 3, front post, 1, 2, 3. So we have 6 double crochets and 1 front post double crochet. All right, let's do row 4. So we've chained 3. We're going to turn our work. We're going to double crochet in that first double crochet. So we've increased by 1. Now we're going to double crochet in the next 2. 1, 2. And now we're going to back post. Because we're working on the back side of our work, we're going to back post around that front post. Then we'll double crochet in the next 2. 1 and 2. All right, and then we'll stitch 2 double crochets in that last stitch. And chain 3. Now this is how it looks on the back, but when we turn it over, you'll see that vein from the front post and the back post stitch down the center. So this is how it should look at row 4. We've got 4 double crochets, our back post, and 4 double crochets. All right, so now we're going to do row 5, double crochet in the same stitch or in that first stitch, 1 double crochet in the next 3, 1, 2, and 3. Oops. There we go. All right, so that gives us 5. Now we're going to front post around that post stitch, and then we'll stitch 1 double crochet in the next 3. Some more yarn out here. There we go. There's our 3. And then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. And chain 3. All right, so that gives us 5 a front post, and 5, which is 10 double crochets, plus the 1 would give us 11. All right, so we're chain 3 and we'll turn our work. So we chained 3, we're going to turn our work, and now we're ready for row 6. So again, we're going to stitch in that first double crochet with a double crochet. Now we're going to stitch 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're on the back side of our work, so we're going to stitch a back post around that front post from the previous row. All right, and now we'll just stitch 1 double crochet. Oops, I got a little knot there. We'll just leave it since this is the demo. But we'll stitch 4 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. And then 2 double crochets in that last stitch. If you come across a knot like that in your yarn, just do what's called a Russian join. I'm going to leave it for now just because we're doing a demo. All right, so we'll just pretend like that didn't happen. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we've stitched up through row 6. At row 6, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 6 on this side, and then our 1 back post. This is the front, and again, this is the back. You only see the vein on the front of our work. So now for row 7, we're going to just do 1 more increase row. So we'll stitch in that first double crochet. We'll stitch in each of those next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochets. That brings us to our front post. So we'll stitch a front post around that stitch. Some more yarn out here. All right, now we're going to stitch in the next 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That leaves our last stitch there on that row, and we're going to stitch 2 double crochets in that last stitch. 1 and 2. And chain 3. All right, now, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have 7 over here, plus our front post, double crochet for row 7. So we have completed up through row 7. Now the next 3 rows, we're not going to be doing any increases. So we chained 3, so we're not going to stitch in that first stitch. We're going to go to the next one and stitch 1 in each of the double crochets. And when we reach that back post stitch, we'll stitch a back post double crochet. All right. And so because we didn't increase, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, counting that chain 3. Then we'll back post around that front post from the previous row. And then 1 stitch in each. We will not stitch 2 double crochets in that last stitch. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Whoops, got to get in that chain 3 there. It's our last stitch. And that's 7. And chain 3. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our back post stitch. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so now we're going to turn our work and do the same thing on the front. We're not going to stitch in that first stitch. We're going to go in the next one. Our chain 3 counts as our first. There's 3. Some more yarn here. 4, 5, 6, and 7 double crochets. Then we'll front post around that back post from the previous row, and then 1 double crochet in each of those 6 stitches. So I stitched 1 in each of those 6 stitches, and remember, in this last stitch that is our chain 3, we only stitch 1 double crochet, which will give us 7 stitches. We'll chain 3 and turn and repeat what we did down here on this row. 1 double crochet in the next 6 because our chain 3 counts as our first. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, back post around that back post or the front post from the previous row, and then 1 double crochet in each of those last 7 stitches, because remember, we're placing only 1 in that last chain, which is the chain 3 from the previous row, which counts as a double crochet. Now, we should be on row 10. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double crochets, our back post, and our 7 double crochets. At the end of row 10, though, we're only going to chain 1 and turn our work. All right. So here's our vein down the center of our leaf. And here's our shape at this point. And what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be decreasing a little bit in order to form the top of our leaf. All right, now we're ready for row 11. We only chained 1 because we're going to do stitching 2 double crochets together or a decrease stitch at the beginning and then also at the end of our row. All right, so yarn over, go in that first stitch, pull up a loop, go in the next stitch, and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over and go through the last 2. All right, so now we're just going to stitch double crochets till we reach that front post double crochet. All right, so we decreased by 1 stitch here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 7. All right. And now we're going to stitch that front post. Now we'll stitch in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So a little tangle here. 5, and then we'll stitch the last 2 together. So we'll go in the next one, pull up a loop, and then go in that chain 3 that counts as our stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 3, yarn over, go through the last 2, and chain 1. And this is how it's going to look at row 11. We decreased by 1 here and 1 here. So instead of having 7, we have 6 stitches on each side and our front post in the middle. So now basically what we're going to do is repeat what we did on this row for 2 more rows. Okay, so we're going to stitch the first 2 together, doing a double crochet decrease. That leaves 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have a total of 5 because we decreased here. All right, now we're going to do our back post, double crochet in that front post. Then we'll stitch 1 in the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets, and then we'll stitch these last 2 double crochets together. Again, a double crochet decrease. Chain 1, then we'll turn to the front and do this one more time. There's our double crochet decrease. 1 double crochet in the next 3. 1. Oops, get in there. 2, 3. So that gives us 4. We're going to front post, double crochet. We stitch that front post, double crochet. Now we're going to stitch 1 in the next 3. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then again we're going to stitch the last 2 together and chain 1. All right, so let's take a look at where we're at here. This is where we're at row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, row 13. Okay, so we have 4 double crochets. We did 2 together here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, our front post, 1, 2, 3, and our 2 double crochets together here. And so now we're down to 8 double crochets in our front post. So we have finished the body of our coaster up through row 13. And so now we're done with that portion. What we're going to do next is we're not going to turn our work and work back this way. What we're going to do is we're going to work down the side of our coaster to the point, evenly single crocheting down the side. All right, so I've chained 1 there, and we'll go right in these first stitches, and the key again to getting a nice even row is to try to stitch in the stitches and not the holes. And there is not a set number of stitches that you need. You're just going to have to look at it. Try not to put them too close. Try not to put them too far apart. You just need to evenly single crochet down to that point of our coaster. And this is important that you don't turn your work, because this is where the vein of our coaster is, and this is the front of our work. So we're going to evenly single crochet down to the point. I have evenly single crocheted all the way down. I'm at the point, and in this point we're going to stitch a single crochet, then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch right in that same single crochet, and then single crochet right in that same point stitch, and then we'll evenly single crochet up the side of our leaf. But I want you to see that gives it just a little bit of a twist there, which makes the end of our leaf. All right, so now we're going to evenly single crochet back up here, and then we'll put the top of our leaf on with that little loop that makes the stem of our leaf. All right, so we evenly single crochet down. We did that picot down here where we chained 2 and then slip stitched in the single crochet to give that little curl of our leaf, and then we single crocheted evenly back up to the top. And we have those 4 double crochets, our front post, and 4 double crochets. So we're going to single crochet in those 4 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go, need a little yarn. Now we're in the stitch of our front post, so we're going to single crochet and chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to come back like we did with our picot stitch and slip stitch in the top of that single crochet. And then we'll go to our next single crochet and stitch 1 single crochet in those last 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. All right, now we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn. We'll go to that next loop. All right, so I got my hook through. I'm going to grab that loop. I'm going to pull it to the back and tie off to the back. And that's going to give us a much neater appearance on the front of our work. All right, now we're going to turn it over. I've already weaved this one in, and I'm going to weave this one in. And then my coaster is all done, and I have a nice set for fall holiday celebrations. So here's my completed autumn or fall leaf coaster. Here's the other 2 that we did for our test. You can see they're just adorable. I just love them. They're perfect for celebrations. They're also great to use as hang-up decorations. Put a few together and make a wonderful centerpiece. There's lots of wonderful options for these beautiful leaves.